Parallels in power. Trump, authoritarianism, and the shadow of history introduction. Throughout history, authoritarian figures have leveraged charisma, fear, and division to ascend to power, often with devastating consequences. Adolf Hitler's rise in Germany serves as a cautionary tale, showcasing how a leader can exploit societal vulnerabilities to dismantle democracy and perpetuate oppression. In the modern era, Donald Trump's leadership has prompted comparisons to such historical figures, with his populist rhetoric, divisive policies, and alliances with oligarchic forces, raising alarms about the fragility of democratic systems. This report explores these parallels, highlighting the need for vigilance and action to preserve democratic norms. The charismatic strongman Hitler's ascent was rooted in his ability to captivate audiences with fiery speeches and promises of restoring Germany to its former glory. He portrayed himself as a savior who could rectify the perceived injustices inflicted on the German people after World War I. Similarly, Trump's appeal lies in his outsider status and his promise to make America great again, a slogan that resonated deeply with segments of the American populace who felt disenfranchised by globalization and cultural shifts. Both leaders built cults of personality, using their charm and brashness to rally supporters. They presented themselves as unyielding leaders capable of solving complex problems through sheer willpower, dismissing traditional political norms and institutions as obstacles to progress. Scapegoating and division, a hallmark of authoritarian regimes, is the creation of scapegoats to unify followers against a common enemy. Hitler's regime targeted Jews, communists, and other minority groups, blaming them for Germany's economic and social woes. This tactic fomented fear and hatred, allowing the Nazi Party to consolidate power and suppress dissent. Trump has employed a similar strategy, targeting immigrants, Muslims, and political opponents. His rhetoric often vilifies these groups, blaming them for crime, unemployment, and cultural decline. Such divisive language fuels polarization and undermines social cohesion, making it easier for authoritarian figures to justify draconian measures under the guise of national security or economic prosperity. Jason Miller, Trump's key advisor on immigration and other issues, has played a central role in shaping and amplifying these narratives. Critics have noted that Miller's strategies echo elements of the Nazi strongman playbook, particularly in the framing of immigration policies and cultural rhetoric. The emphasis on reshaping America into a conservative Christian image, one that prioritizes a select elite, raises questions about whether these tactics aim to entrench power within a specific ideological framework while marginalizing diverse communities. Enabling oligarchs. Hitler's rise was facilitated by alliances with wealthy industrialists who saw his regime as a means to protect their economic interests. These oligarchs provided financial backing and resources that enabled the Nazi Party to expand its influence. In Trump's case, his presidency was marked by close relationships with billionaires and corporate magnates. Tax policies favoring the wealthy, deregulation of industries, and appointments of corporate insiders to key government positions reflect the influence of oligarchic interests. These alliances not only exacerbate economic inequality, but also weaken democratic accountability, as power becomes concentrated in the hands of a privileged few. Miller's role in these alliances further underscores the connection between Trump's administration and the consolidation of elite power. His rhetoric and policy recommendations often prioritize the interests of wealthy conservative backers, while cloaking these priorities in populist language to garner support from working-class Americans. Elon Musk, the billionaire entrepreneur and CEO of companies like Tesla, SpaceX, and Twitter, has also become a polarizing figure in these dynamics. Musk's public support for deregulation, tax cuts for corporations, and his controversial commentary on social and political issues have drawn scrutiny. Critics argue that Musk's immense influence and wealth place him among the oligarchs who benefit from policies that prioritize elite interests. Additionally, Musk's involvement in initiatives like the Department of Government Efficiency, which ostensibly aims to streamline governance, raises concerns about whether such efforts are designed to concentrate power among a select few while marginalizing broader democratic engagement. Erosion of democratic norms under Hitler. The Weimar Republic's democratic framework was systematically dismantled. Through legal manipulations, propaganda, and the suppression of opposition, he transformed Germany into a totalitarian state. Trump's challenges to democratic norms have been stark, including his refusal to concede the 2020 election and his role in inciting the January 6th Capitol attack. His efforts to delegitimize the electoral process, coupled with baseless claims of voter fraud, eroded public trust in democratic institutions. Such actions mirror tactics used by authoritarian leaders to undermine checks and balances, paving the way for authoritarian rule. Miller's involvement in crafting Trump's post-election strategy, including supporting efforts to challenge and overturn election results, demonstrates the alignment of advisors in enabling these authoritarian tendencies. Similarly, Musk's role as a tech mogul controlling platforms like X has positioned him as a significant actor in shaping public discourse, with the potential to amplify misinformation or stifle dissenting voices under the guise of free speech. The role of propaganda played a central role in Hitler's regime, with Joseph Goebbels orchestrating a media machine that glorified the Nazi Party and suppressed dissenting voices. Control over information ensured that the public was exposed only to narratives that bolstered the regime's legitimacy. Trump's use of social media and right-wing news outlets similarly amplified his message and polarized public opinion. Platforms like Twitter became tools for spreading misinformation, rallying supporters, and attacking opponents. The proliferation of alternative facts and conspiracy theories sowed confusion and distrust, weakening the shared reality essential for democratic discourse. Jason Miller's role in orchestrating communication strategies, including through media platforms and messaging, has drawn parallels to historical propaganda efforts. His ability to craft narratives that resonate with Trump's base, while marginalizing dissent, highlights the power of strategic messaging in shaping public opinion. Musk's acquisition of Twitter and his approach to content moderation have sparked debates about the concentration of media power and its implications for democratic accountability, with some arguing that his policies favor a select group of voices while silencing others. Resistance and lessons resistance to authoritarianism requires vigilance, organization, and a commitment to democratic principles. In Hitler's Germany, opposition movements were suppressed through violence and intimidation, underscoring the importance of safeguarding free speech and civil liberties. In the United States, grassroots movements, protests, and legal challenges have pushed back against Trump's authoritarian tendencies. However, the persistence of systemic issues, such as economic inequality and political polarization, highlights the need for structural reforms to fortify democracy. The growing influence of figures like Musk within political and media ecosystems underscores the importance of ensuring that no individual or corporation wields disproportionate control over public discourse. Conclusion: the parallels between Adolf Hitler and Donald Trump serve as a stark reminder of the dangers posed by charismatic leaders who exploit fear and division to consolidate power. While the contexts differ, the tactics employed, scapegoating, propaganda, and undermining democratic norms, reveal enduring patterns in the rise of authoritarianism. Figures like Jason Miller and Elon Musk, who support and implement these strategies or shape the platforms that enable them, play critical roles in advancing the agenda of authoritarian-leaning leaders. To prevent history from repeating itself, citizens and leaders must remain vigilant, prioritize accountability, and strengthen institutions that uphold democratic values. Unity, education, and active engagement are essential to ensuring that the lessons of the past inform a more just and equitable future.